Yo YouTube, what's going on? AJ here, back at it again with another video. And in today's video we're going to be going over the 1.4 pros and cons. Yes, we're going to be talking about the upcoming characters. Kuro Games has finally started their reruns. They started with this 1.3 patch. We had Shorekeeper first, then Jian. The next patch is 1.4. We're going to be getting Camellya, and then we're going to be getting most likely the Yinlin rerun, since she was the second 5-star, limited 5-star that did come out, and a lot of people do need her. So without further ado, before we get into the video, if you please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. We're trying to be the top Wuthering Waves creator in the space. We're trying to hit 5k, then 10. We're just trying to make it to the top. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on this channel. Now let's get into the video. So let's start off with Yinlin, since she is the rerun character. We're going to talk about what are her pros, and then we'll talk about why the con is banner placement. So first off, her being a sub DPS, that's the first pro I would give it, is that we only really have two main sub DPSs in the game. We have her, and Jay-Z is what I like to call her, as you know, the nickname if you guys aren't familiar, but that's Jaja or Jeji, however you pronounce her name, or however you guys go by it. But sub DPSs, guys, are very high in value, because the simple fact is we have very little of them. They do so much. They give us buffs, they cover up an elemental type and produce and buff up that elemental type, taking those main DPSs that we have to higher levels, you know what I mean? And they're great because they don't really spend too much time on field, which brings me to my next pro for Yinlin. Great AoE damage and great off-field damage. Okay, so the one thing about Yinlin is that when you go through her entire rotation, you set up everything, you build up her, basically her forte bar or whatever, you pop that, pop the ult, or however you guys do it, and then when your circle starts blinking and you're going to go switch back in to whether it's your Zhang or if you have Resonance Chains for Calcharo, basically she gives you a liberation buff. And what's so good about that is the fact that not only is she boosting the damage your main DPS does, but her constant damage with the mark she leaves, she's doing a lot of very good off-field damage constantly. And that's always great because these characters do make team comps very efficient by now, and I'm pretty sure most of y'all know that. And that's why I always say supportive characters are always higher on the totem pole, because you can always replace DPSs, because there'll always be somebody new that comes out that power creeps their damage. However, with these type of supports, it really does take a lot to power creep, nerf them, or knock them off the totem pole. Moving on, let's get into point 3. Yinlin is very universal, and yes, very universal. What do I mean by that, guys? Well, aside from her own element, which is Electro, and we know she gives that 20% boost to the Electro element, you can use Yinlin with a variety of different teammates, you know what I mean? If you wanted to use her and let's say you didn't have a good option, or you don't want to build Yanwu for Jin C, you could use her. There's also that counts as coordinated attacks. But aside from even that, her just giving the Resonance Liberation buffs, right, could be used on any future team that requires a DPS or characters that need Resonance Liberation. And because of that alone, that's what makes her universal, is the plethora of team comps that you can basically plug and play her in. So if you're really somebody who's looking towards getting Yinlin and stuff like that, I would highly advise pulling her. Now, the honorable mention and the fourth one that I haven't put on the screen yet, that I will tell you guys about as well, is her weapon. String Master, I believe it is called, right, is one of the best rectifiers in the game in general. It's just one of those that universally, if you don't have a 5-star weapon that is a limited option, like you don't have Jay-Z's, you don't have hers gives like 36% crit rate, I believe. And then on top of that, that just stat stick is so good for future sub DPSs, you know what I mean? Like if you really didn't want to pull another character that is going to use that weapon class that is a sub DPS, right, if they keep going with the recertifiers as they are, you could just pull that one and you could be set. Now we'll see in the future if Kuro decides to make changes and makes it like, hey, you know what I mean, we knew this was a good stat stick before, but now we're going to tailor it specifically to other characters. But I kind of highly doubt that, guys. So her weapon is very good. Let's go over her con, the banner placement. Now, what do I mean by banner placement? Well, because that Camellya is coming around the corner, guys, I know there's a lot of people that saved up for Shorekeeper or said they were going to skip Shorekeeper that played the story, the 1.3 patch, and then ended up spending on Shorekeeper. If you're a whale, you really don't have to worry about this because you're going to get everything regardless, right? If you're a light spender or free to play, one of the issues could be that you're very interested in Shorekeeper, you're very interested in Camellya. You wanted to grab both characters now, and she's probably going to be Yinlin, and I'm most likely confident, guys, on the back end, so after Camellya. So if you gotta hope you win your 50-50 and have enough astrites, or if you lose the 50-50 on Camellya, you gotta make a decision. Do I want Camellya? Do I want Yinlin? You know what I mean? That's really the only problem, because other than that, Yinlin really doesn't have any cons, guys. She's a very, very solid unit, very amazing character, very future proof for the long term of Wuthering Waves. Moving on, let's get to our next character, which is the bread and butter, or the main event, we can say, is Camellya. Now, let's talk about Camellya's pros first, obviously. The new 5-star DPS slash sub DPS or hybrid. I couldn't fit all that in there, guys. I know the text is a little bit big, but I kind of want you guys to see that clearly. So what am I talking about? Well, Kuro, we don't know too much official information, but we kind of have a gut feeling that this is where they're going to place her. She's either going to be, guys, a main DPS, a sub DPS, but I really believe she's going to be a hybrid character, like a Changli. Yes, I think she'll be a main DPS that provides buffs. This is just my guess and gut feeling. We'll talk to and get into why I think that with the third pro in 1 second. But let's go over to the second pro that we can talk about, is her sane damage potential. So if Kuro does decide to go the route of hybrid or main DPS or sub DPS, whichever category they want to place Camellya in, I believe her damage output is going to be crazy, considering the fact that we've had multiple DPSs coming in, and each time a new one comes out, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. For instance, take a look at Jin C. Jin C came out, extremely broken, still top of the meta, right? Zhang Liao came out, everybody was like, oh, is he going to be broken? Is he going to be not? Because Kuro was balancing that character out multiple times. He ends up becoming broken. He's got a mini Jin C nuke, and he's just got the easier quality of life how to play him. You know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to use Zhang Liao and just pop off against all the bosses. So I do believe Camellya being this next character that comes out after so long, they're not going to do her dirty. In fact, her damage potential just might be through the roof and may even be able to challenge Jin C. We just don't know yet. You know what I mean? But we're waiting for official details. Now, the third one is the Rover Synergy, and this is what I was talking about with the first one. So I've kind of looked at a pattern that Kuro Games does with their characters right now. They have their Liberation characters, which I like to call 100 miles per hour characters. What do I mean by that? Basically, they just want to be on the field 95-100% of the time, as much as they can be, and just keep going off when they all, you know what I mean, and just keep going and attacking. You have your Gions, you have your Calcharos, you have your Zhang Liaos, right? Then you have your other DPSs, who are your burst units, right? You have your Jin Cs, you have your Changlis are the two main ones. Any other character that is a burst unit, you guys kind of get that. But Changli kind of provided a different category, and that's what I like to call hybrid. A hybrid character is a main DPS character, but is also switching off and providing buffs. The one thing that I find funny is that we had Shorekeeper, and she does give a small amount of buff to Rover if Rover's on the team comp, right? But all in all, Shorekeeper kind of just boosts every character's potential in the game, regardless of who they are. But with Shorekeeper, I think if Camellya, if they make her Havoc, okay, she will not only give high damage and Havoc buffs and maybe something that can boost Rover. The other thing that's very suspicious and funny right now, guys, we still don't have Rover's 3 other resonance chains for Havoc. That is the other thing to look out for, because there could be, potentially, they could announce that we are getting the 1.4 3 other resonance chains to R6 our Rover in that patch. So if that was the case, could you imagine R6 Rover, Shorekeeper, and Camellya on one team? That's what I do think Kuro is hinting at and is going to push for, and that team comp would probably be insane. And I'm not even joking about that. That's also very nice for anybody that's built up Rover now, because that's one less premium unit that you would need, because some of these teams, when you want to get them to their max potential, do require 3 premium units. But let's go on to now the cons. Okay, so the cons might be, do not lose the 50-50, right, guys? I don't think anybody really wants to lose the 50-50. I'm hoping y'all win your polls. I don't want anybody to lose. I know how excited people are for this character. If you're not excited, that's all right. Don't worry. You guys aren't worried about that. You guys probably are more interested in getting that Yinlin weapon. But Camellya probably has insane potential. And I do feel like it's going to be one of those shorekeeper scenarios where a lot of people are like, oh, you know what? Nah, the ones that at least I'm talking about want to skip. Maybe like I may skip, I may do this, that, and the third, and then they play the story, and then they get into the hype and everything like that. They want to pull, you know what I mean? So whatever happens, guys, I'm praying y'all win the 50-50. Do not lose the 50-50. The second one, and this is more of a real con, you may need her signature weapon. Depending on Kuro decides to do this, and we don't know what her weapon class is officially yet, guys, but I know a lot of us now, we kind of have like a limited weapon selection for all the categories at this point now. So I guess some of us can transfer a weapon, whatever that Kuro decides to make her, over. Obviously, I don't think she's going to be a gun user, and I know we don't have a gun user just yet in the game. Eventually, over time, they probably will add one. But I don't know if Kuro's going to do where they make her weapon just specifically tailored to Camellya in some way. If they don't, and it's kind of similar to other weapons that we have in the game, then you can use your other limited 5-star weapons as a stat stick to put on her, and then this con is wiped away, and then she becomes even easier, you know what I mean, to build if you have her. But all in all, I think both the banner units that are going to be on this 1.4 patch, insane value. It's great, two great characters, two game-changing characters if you don't have either, right? Just make the right decision. I would say if you guys need help on who, I will do who to pull in the future and when we get more details and stuff like that, but go for who you guys want. Hopefully you guys win your 50-50s. Hopefully just enjoy the game with the characters you like to play. I just want to shine some light over the potential pros and cons of what these characters provide. That's it for this video, guys. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for the support. I love y'all. It's been your boy AJ. Happy Sunday, guys. I'm out. Peace.